USDT is the most popular stablecoin in the world. It got to the point that when someone says, "I accept crypto payments," they actually mean USDT. But Tether also gets a lot of backlash. Many people, including popular influencers, believe that holding USDT is risky because it could collapse at any moment, or its creators might think you're doing something illegal and freeze your wallet. My name is Igor, and today I'll explain what's wrong with USDT. I believe that to really understand USDT's problems, you first need to know what it's built on. So let's start with the very basics. USDT is not a traditional cryptocurrency, it's a stablecoin. For anyone new to crypto, a stablecoin is a token that artificially stays at a fixed price. There are many stablecoins in crypto, and their value is tied to real-world currencies or even precious metals. The most popular stablecoin in the world is Tether's USDT, often called the crypto dollar. The idea behind it is quite simple. Let people store money in crypto without the risk of losing it and make dollar liquidity available 24/7. USDT was launched in 2014, and by 2020 it held 75% of the stablecoin market. Today its market cap is around $165 billion, making it the fourth largest cryptocurrency in the world. When I just started researching this topic, I wondered how Tether keeps each coin worth exactly $1. The answer to my question is the foundation of USDT. Of course, I am talking about reserve assets. The idea is very simple. Tether keeps USDT's price at $1 by automatically buying it when someone starts trading it below that value. This process happens instantly, so people can trust that even if many USDT are sold at once, the price will stay at $1, backed by Tether's reserves. Right now, about $157 billion in USDT is circulating, and Tether has enough reserves to buy it all back. Most of these reserves are in US Treasury bills, basically lending money to the US government for interest. They also invest in private companies and keep around 5% of their reserves in Bitcoin. So Tether is relying heavily on the economic stability of the United States. And since USDT is tied to the US dollar anyways, it's not really a problem. The reserve assets are the foundation of USDT, and it's important to understand what they're needed for. Later, you'll get why I make such a big deal out of it. The first complaint crypto enthusiasts have about USDT is that it's completely centralized. Independence and anonymity are highly valued in our community, but Tether has taken a completely different approach. All decisions about releasing new tokens or controlling existing ones are in the hands of a single private company. I've met many people who used USDT thinking it is decentralized and anonymous like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but that's not true. If you use USDT, you need to understand three major consequences of its centralization. First, you are completely trusting Tether and everything this company says. Second, USDT, unlike anonymous blockchains, is regulated by various international authorities. And third, Tether has a button that in theory would freeze all your money. And yes, you heard that right. The USDT smart contract has a special blacklist function which allows the developers to freeze USDT tokens on specific blockchains in any address within seconds. The tokens aren't exactly taken from the wallet or sent elsewhere. They're simply frozen, meaning you can't do anything with them. Critics argue this is wrong. USDT provides liquidity to many projects, and the mere possibility of freezing tokens puts their security at risk. Tether, on the other hand, is very proud of this feature. They say ordinary users have nothing to worry about, because tokens are only frozen in cooperation with the authorities and when there is clear evidence of illegal activity. So far, the company has frozen $2.9 billion. I'll let you decide for yourself whether this is right or wrong. Now, let's move on. The topic of centralization we discussed in the previous chapter is pretty straightforward and lies on the surface, but USDT has another problem that's more complex, which is why I started this video with the story about reserves, the foundation of USDT. Think about this. When I talked about Tether's reserves, I mentioned some interesting numbers, like having enough money to buy back $157 billion worth of USDT. But let me ask you a simple question. It's so simple, it might even feel a bit confusing. Who do you think is claiming that Tether has all this money in its reserve accounts? Whose words are we trusting when we hear these words? Unfortunately, the answer is that we just have to take Tether at its word. In the world of big money, there's something called a financial audit. I'm not an expert, and to be honest, I first heard this term while working on the script for this video, so let me quickly explain it. The idea of it is very simple. You hire a specialized company to check how much money you have, and they provide you a full report that meets international standards. An audit is a reliable way to show that your company is doing well. The problem is that in its entire history, Tether has never conducted a single audit. Since 2017, they've acknowledged this issue and said they want one, but they've listed various reasons why it hasn't happened. In 2018, one firm even tried to start a Tether audit, but the guys refused their services because the process was too detailed. Instead of audits, Tether publishes attestations. An attestation also checks a project's current finances, but it's very different from a full audit. The main issue is that attestations rely on documents provided by the company's management. In other words, the firm just reviews papers and gives an opinion, rather than conducting an independent audit. By the way, the lack of a full audit was one of the main reasons Tether was completely banned in the European Economic Area this year. The European Union requires stablecoin to undergo regular audits and fully disclose information about their reserves. Tether, as you can see, does not meet these requirements. Today, Tether openly says that conducting an audit is their top priority, but it hasn't happened yet, and many critics consider it one of the USDT's weak points. We can confidently say that USDT is a great tool for sending money around the world. It's available on many popular blockchains and its price is always tied to $1. However, when it comes to holding it long term, the situation is more complicated. I wouldn't say USDT is completely secure, but I also wouldn't agree with those who call it a house of cards. The truth lies somewhere in the middle, and I hope I've helped you understand it better. My channel is still very young and most of my videos average less than 5 likes. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate your support. My name is Igor and I'll see you next Sunday.